Farmer Briggs had lived on his sprawling farm his whole life. Every morning, he'd sit on his porch, a cup of coffee in hand, with his loyal golden retriever, Rusty, by his side. They were inseparable, two old souls enjoying the quiet rhythm of country life. But one Tuesday, the routine broke. Rusty, usually calm and content, started barking insistently, nudging his nose toward the back pasture. Briggs tried to quiet him, but Rusty was relentless. He'd run a few feet, then look back, barking as if to say, "Come on, you need to see this." Curiosity finally got the better of the old farmer. He put down his coffee, grabbed his walking stick, and followed his frantic companion. Rusty led him past the chicken coop, beyond the whispering cornfields, all the way to the edge of the property where an old, forgotten tractor sat rusting under a giant oak tree. It had been his father's, a relic from a bygone era that Briggs hadn't touched in over 40 years. Rusty was circling the tractor, pawing at the dilapidated engine compartment and letting out excited yelps. "What is it, boy? Did you find a squirrel's nest?" Briggs muttered, his joints aching as he leaned over to inspect the machine. He reached for the corroded latch on the engine cover. With a groan of protesting metal, he heaved it open. A cloud of dust and dried leaves puffed into the air. At first, he saw nothing but tangled wires and faded paint. But then, tucked away in a small, dark cavity near the engine block, was a small metal box. It was an old lunchbox, rusted shut and covered in cobwebs. Briggs felt a strange jolt of recognition. It was his father's lunchbox. He remembered him carrying it out to the fields every single day. His hands trembled slightly as he carried the box back to the farmhouse. He spent the better part of an hour carefully prying it open, his heart pounding with a mixture of anticipation and nostalgia. When the lid finally gave way, the contents took his breath away. Inside wasn't an old sandwich or a forgotten tool. It was filled with letters, dozens of them, tied together with a faded blue ribbon. The handwriting was unmistakable. It was his mother's. She had passed away when Briggs was just a young boy, and his memories of her were faint and dreamlike. His father, a man of few words, had never spoken much about her. He'd simply said she was gone, and the grief had hung between them like a silent fog for decades. Briggs carefully untied the ribbon and unfolded the first letter. It began, "My dearest John," his father's name. As he read, tears began to stream down his weathered cheeks. They were love letters. His mother had written one to his father every single day for the first year of their marriage. She wrote about her dreams for their farm, her joy in watching young Briggs play, and her deep, unwavering love for her husband. She was funny, poetic, and full of life, a woman he felt he was meeting for the very first time. Tucked at the very bottom of the box was one final, sealed envelope. On the front, in his father's shaky script, were the words, "For my son, when you're ready." His hands shook as he opened it. The letter was short. "Your mother loved you more than all the stars in the sky," his father wrote. "I hid these letters because reading them hurt too much. But her love was too bright to keep hidden forever. I should have shared her with you. Forgive me." In that moment, the wall of silence that had stood between Briggs and the memory of his parents crumbled. He wasn't just an old farmer in a quiet house anymore. He was the son of two people who had shared a profound and beautiful love. He looked over at Rusty, who was now snoozing at his feet, and whispered, "Thank you, boy. You brought her back to me." The old tractor wasn't just a piece of rusted metal. It was a time capsule, a keeper of secrets that had finally set his heart free.